Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Hawk Nation Sports. I'm sure you guys are curious as to how the Winter Athletic Squads did this year. Stick around, because you'll be finding out each team today. The girls' basketball team had one for the record books. With 2 seniors and only 3 juniors, it looked like it might have to be a transition season, but those 5 upperclassmen wouldn't let that happen. The 2 captains, Courtney Pascal and Taylor Pinzone, led the way for the Lady Hawks. They made it to the state tournament as an 11 seed against a 6-seeded Everett. They would have had to pull off a major upset, but behind the upperclassmen's lead, the Hawks pulled off one of the biggest upsets of the tournament. It was the first tournament win they've had in 14 years. That wasn't the only news the Lady Hawks made this season. Senior Courtney Pascal managed to make history by scoring 1,000 points this season, the 3rd woman to do so in history. The others, Stacey Connors and Renee LeBlanc. I caught up with the 2 captains.
It was pretty incredible because I was the 3rd girl in Waltham High School history to do it, and to have everyone in the stands, family, friends, people that don't normally come to games, alumni, everyone, it was just a really great moment. And to get the assist from Taylor, we've been playing basketball together forever, so that made it that much more special. I think I have 2. One of them was when I got my half-court shot. That was on the news. That was pretty awesome. And definitely the 1,000 points was a big moment, and I'll never forget it. I think what I'll miss most is the sense of community and just the team in general, because this year was my favorite team that I've played with by far. We were really close, and I knew going into the locker room every day that I could always count on them for everything, and just the team chemistry overall.
The difference between this team and others was we were a very young team. We were only made up of 4 upperclassmen, so we had a lot of young athletes to work with, but it turned out well. I have a few best memories of the season. One of them would obviously be making it to the 2nd round. We beat Everett in the 1st round in tournament, and it was very exciting to move on to the 2nd because we haven't, any girls basketball team, or I think girls in general sports, haven't done that in a while. And obviously when Courtney Pascal scored her 1,000 points, it was a very exciting night. Next year, we're probably looking for getting it back into the tournament and hopefully succeeding even further. So, yeah.
Speaking as a captain for the basketball team, we didn't get as many wins as we'd hoped. But I definitely wouldn't have changed a thing. These guys worked their tail off every day in the off-season and during. I was never so close with the team before. With a small number of upperclassmen, it was going to be a learning year. 7 sophomores on the team is one of the most in school history. But the leaders of this team understood that these young guys needed experience and confidence. By the end of the season, the young guys knew how to play at that level. They have a bright future for sure. If you look to the bench, you would have realized a big change was made. A new coach? Yes. No more Joe Cacciatore, a legend at Waltham High, with 30-plus seasons and 300-plus wins. It was going to be tough to replace him, but they hired the perfect man in Mike Weiler.
My goal for next year is probably to make the tournament and just try to go as far as we can in the tournament. I'm definitely going to miss the relationship that I made with them and just having them push me harder at practice every day. Every day, I'm just going to work hard, get better. I'm going to try to get the teammates together, and we're all just going to work hard together and get each other better for next season.
I think anytime you take over a program, regardless of sport or where, I think that you come in and you try to culturally make it your own. And I think going forward, I think some of the things that I've stressed are community service, academics, and then making sure that we have a strong effort on the court. So I think going forward, those are the themes that I'm going to stick with. I don't see myself ever really wavering from those. So academics, making sure that we're giving effort on the court, and community service is going to be sort of the theme of our program. And I think that that'll carry us moving forward to a lot of success. I think this past season was and always will be unique. It's obviously my first season as the basketball coach. And, as I was saying about changing our culture, I think we accomplished that this season. I think we had a lot of excitement in the gym. I think that we had a lot of good student athletes, and we got a lot of community service done. As far as the wins and losses this season, I mean, certainly I was hoping for more wins than we had, but we did have a team that had, limited experience. I think that my biggest regret, if I had one, is that we weren't able to make the tournament for our seniors. That was a big goal of mine. But I also, now looking back, understand that having had some time to think about it, that we did have a very successful season, despite the fact that we didn't have as many wins as I would have liked to, because we were able to accomplish those things that I mentioned. Being able to get out in the community, student athlete, the effort was high, and the kids never quit. And if you watch the second half of our season, we were a lot closer to probably that team. And I think that's going to carry forward in years to come. So the season was a success, first one under the belt, and looking forward to many more. I think that the goal for next year is obviously to take another step forward in terms of the overall wins and losses. I mean, you can't judge a season based off of your wins and losses, but I do think that based on some of the experience that we gained and some of the players that are coming back who are part of that experience, that we should hopefully move forward in terms of the wins and losses. I mean, I now know that the academics and the community service and the effort are going to be there. I think the fourth piece of that is hopefully winning more games. So next year's goal for me is to make the tournament. That's really what I'm trying to create here at Waltham, is to make sure that we are consistently in contention for the tournament every year. And if we can do that every year, coupled with the other three things, then I think that's where things really will start to take off. And I have no doubt that we'll get there. Unfortunately, things just take time. They take effort, and year one we got was a launching point. But the goal is definitely to make the tournament, be competitive in the league, and continue to hit on our sort of three key points for the program.
The youngest team of all was the girls' hockey team. Only 4 upperclassmen to follow with many freshmen and middle schoolers. Team captains Jenny Sacconi and Nicole Legere showed the way for the young girls. This was a tight group that knew all about sportsmanship. Nicole Legere was awarded the Bruin Sportsmanship Award. Missing the tournament by a few points was definitely impressive, considering it was such a young crew. The girls have a bright future with centerpiece Caroline Gooden, who has attended some USA camps. The captains will leave with their heads held high.
What I'll miss most is obviously my team, because we were really close, but I'll also just miss playing hockey competitively, because I'm not sure when I'll be able to play again. I know I'll be able to skate here and there, hopefully in college and just in other games and tournaments, but the competitive part is what I'll miss most, because I grew up playing hockey. I come from a huge hockey family, so it's just been a huge part of my life, so it's kind of sad to see it end. This season was a really rewarding one for me. I'm a 2-year captain, one of only a few upperclassmen. Our team consists of mostly middle school girls and freshmen. So myself, Nicole, Casey Antonellis, we all have to kind of lead by example on and off the ice for the younger girls. But overall, the experience was just, really rewarding.
Felt amazing, it was awesome to actually get it, and I never got it before, so it felt really great to win it. So it was amazing to get, this. So I got to, go where they have dinner and all that, right near the locker room and all that. So we ate, we sat there, met a lot of new people. So we I didn't eat anything, but we talked to new people. We actually saw some Bruins stretching and all that. So, and then we went up to our seats, and then at 4 minutes left of the game, we went down to the bench and all that, and got our names on the Jumbotron. I'm just really supportive of my teammates, win or lose. I don't really care if we lost or not. I still show my support on the team and give my teammates, it's all right, it's a win, it's a lose, who cares? We still have the next game, we can still earn our points. So.
Talk about a bounce back season. The boys hockey team missed the tournament by a single point last year, but this season they made sure that wouldn't happen again. Goalie Brendan Devlin started the trend by saving everything that was shot at him. He was named all-conference goalie for the league. The defense was inexperienced heading into the season, but Captain Stephen Millerick led the way, and the defense was solid throughout. The offense was great as well. Peter Simeone, Steven Jardina, Sean Trelligan, Nick LeBlanc, and Chris Egan were to name a few. Here are a few of the guys.
Before the tournament game, a lot of silence. Everybody's focused up. Everybody's getting ready for the task at hand, and I think everybody was ready. I don't think anyone had a doubt in their mind that we could win that game. We should have won that game. Don't get me started on it, but yeah, everyone was definitely focused. Everybody knew what they had to do. I don't think anyone was fooling around that game. You know, that was the goal from the beginning of the season, was to get there, and we got there. And yeah, I definitely think everyone was on the same page that game. What will I miss most? The character of them. You know, they're always, the seniors were the first ones to put a laugh in the locker room, first one to put a smile on my face, especially Nick LeBlanc and Sean Trelligan, those two goofballs. Everyone, they led the team well. They led by a good example, and they're gonna be missed next year, definitely. The goal for next year is to get to the same spot we were at this year, but further. Next year, I mean, if everyone grinds this off season, everybody focuses on this season, doesn't take anything lightly, doesn't take anything as a joke. If they're serious, and then I think we should be good next year. I think we have a good set of seniors that are coming up, and then even underclassmen like the freshmen are going to have to step up, and I think they can. They matured a lot this year, and I think if everyone keeps maturing, this team should be bound for great things.
Best part of the year, probably by far, would have been beating Central Catholic. They were a powerhouse, and no one believed we could win except for us. And we ended up pulling off the W and clinching a tourney berth. And the place was wild. It was a really good time. What stood out about these guys, we just love playing with each other, love being with each other more than anything, really. Guys love getting to practice, get there early. It's a grind, getting to practice, going every single day. But these guys loved every second of it, and that's why I thought we were pretty successful during the year. JV, you got me tearing up a little bit over here. I don't know, being the starting goalie this year, it's pretty special. I mean, just playing in front of the home crowd, you know, 7 p.m. games against rivals and stuff like that. It's just an experience I'll never forget, and it was just a really good time this year.
Track is definitely overlooked as a sport during the wintertime. It's a very successful program at our high school. The girls are always a threat at the top of the leaderboard, a crew of extremely fast girls that not only work well together, but are a very tight unit. The boys are just as successful. Leading the way is junior Antonio De Genova. Antonio's forte is the hurdles, where he's ranked 11th overall in the state and has the school record. He's already getting looked at by the next level. Here he is.
A lot of hard work, working on form, especially this off season between indoor and outdoor with Joe Chinchita from Newton North. A lot of the stuff this year I was focusing on my starts, coming out of the blocks, trying to come out low and fast and get over that first hurdle nice and smooth. By the time I graduate, I want to bring my time down more, try and beat that school record again, and keep my DCL champion title for the rest of my high school career.
Another sport that doesn't get a lot of attention is the wrestling team. Wrestling is arguably the toughest sport to play at high school. It requires a lot of mental strength and physical strength. With countless hours of training, running, lifting, these guys are in tip-top shape. Constantly focusing on their weight class, it's a challenge to even eat. Take it from these two, the wrestlers themselves.
You know, it's a pretty good amount. You have to be in really good shape to be able to wrestle. That's why I think a lot of kids tend to quit during the season. Like, we started off with about 15 kids, and then towards the end of the season we only had about 7. We only had about, I think, 4 going to most of the meets, 4 or 5. So it really wasn't a sufficient amount to really have a good functioning wrestling team. But I think, yeah, that kind of speaks for itself in terms of the conditioning. A lot of conditioning. We do sprints at the end of every practice. Seems like a small room if you've ever been in it, but if you run back and forth enough times, I'll promise you'll be gassed, especially when you're just doing drills constantly for about 2.5 hours for the whole time. So yeah, it's a pretty good amount of conditioning. The best part, I think for me, the best part would definitely be just letting out all your anger, I think, on the mat, just letting out everything that's built up and just putting in all your effort into. And also, I mean, I love team sports, but in a way, it's kind of a plus when it's just you. It's just one-on-one, and it's just you versus the other person, and nothing that anyone else really does matters in terms of your individual performance in it. So I think I like that a lot, the way that I can just do whatever I want on that mat and just destroy the other person with no consequences.
Well, wrestling takes like a lot of work. I mean, all sports take a lot of work, but wrestling, you have to make weight, you have to go to weigh-ins, you can't eat anything till weigh-ins. That's pretty hard. I mean, you wake up, you're hungry, and then it takes a lot of technique. A lot of sports take technique, but you don't have to be perfect, but you gotta close to perfect in order for it to work. And there's also other people working their best and doing the same thing you are, so you gotta work just as hard, maybe even harder, to win the match and be, I don't know, successful, I guess. Well, you kind of just like can't think of anything else but, you know, winning. So kind of just have to think of a pin. You have to bring the guy to the mat. You have to think of the basics, you know. It's like kind of like thinking of a play. You just think of how you're going to bring them down, get your points, and just work with that.
Swimming had one of their best seasons yet, with captains Connie Lee and Victor Chung leading the way, both who are seniors. This squad is constantly laughing and smiling and really having a great time. They also are a close team that love to be together. This program has been headed in the right direction and looks to continue to improve in the years to come.
It is very important because diet is everything, and before like each meet I would do like a high carb diet, which is a lot of pasta and like a lot of bread, just so you have enough energy for the meet tomorrow. The best memory is when we have these red and white meets, which is when you divide the team into the red and the white team and you race against each other. For the past 3 years, I've been on the white team and I've won.
I guess the biggest part about it was it just being a senior, you know, and it being that kind of final year and trying to make it the best you can be, and just the friends I've made out of swimming and the overall experience is something that I'll never forget. Definitely the people I've met. Some of the best friends I have today are from this team, and definitely moving forward it's going to be a lot tougher with half of them.
The Superfan section. Let me just say, I was really impressed with the amount of people that would show up to these games and scream their heads off. True dedication. Constantly chirping, making noise. It was a phenomenal atmosphere. This fan section hasn't been this crazy in years. It really gave our teams even more of an advantage. Here are some of the masterminds themselves.
I would have to say one of my favorite games this winter was the boys basketball game against Cambridge, because even though the outcome wasn't what we really wanted to, the first half was really energetic, and like the fans really got into it, and it was really competitive. And like I know, like me personally, like I was like going back and forth with the fans on the other side, and like we were really getting some good chants in, so it was good. I would say the best part about superfanning is like being able to be really loud and like get chants going, get the whole crowd into it, and like have us all come together. And it's just fun, like trying to get under the other team's skin and trying to get the players going. Well, sometimes if we can, we try to get names of the other teams so we kind of can try to distract them. Also, I don't know, I just yell. I just like yell whatever comes to mind. So, and then also like making sure that like we get the whole entire crowd to be really loud, because then I think like that distracts the other team, and you know, we just get the boys or the girls going, because then their energy, you know, well, yeah.
I'd have to say the best part about Superfanning would just be the whole prep, and then going to the game, squatted up with all your friends, and then just yelling as loud as you can. My favorite game this winter was definitely basketball game against Boston Latin. Packed the house, we all dressed up in costumes, and definitely our loudest game. I distract opponents by yelling at the top of my lungs, so we'll get we'll find the player's name first, and then we'll look them up on Facebook, find out the information like sisters, moms, aunts, anything, pet names, just anything that you could yell to get in their head. And we'll usually throw some messed up chirps in there with those names.
A national champion from Waltham High? Yup, you heard that right. The Waltham Feelers were named national champs down in Florida just the other month. This team is the first to have been awarded a national championship in Waltham High School history. The scary thing is that the majority of the team will be returning next season. The seniors will definitely be missed, a crew that knew exactly how to lead.
The best part about Disney was making bonds with my teammates and creating memories and competing together for the last time. The thing I'll miss most about the season is the seniors and how they took us under their wing for the past 2 years, and how they included all of us, and we had lots of team bonding, captains practices, and did lots of fun things with them.
So starting off, we went to the gym every morning. That was in the summertime, and we had weekly night practices at a local gym. We practiced with a different coach, worked on our tumbling. I don't personally tumble, but everyone else did. And we worked on stunting, and then every day after school, maybe it was one day that we didn't have practice, sometimes on the weekend, we were practicing. We won DCLs, regionals, and then states. We came in third. And then we got the national bid, so we went to nationals, but working up to nationals. We practiced a couple times a week. It was pretty difficult because we had different kids in different sports, dance, theater, so it was very difficult. I wish we knew earlier, but we worked up to it and it really worked out well, so a lot of work. Going to nationals was completely different. Like, I've never been traveling for a sport that far. We go out of state, which is normal, but like never to Florida. It was just like something huge. And just being at nationals, like that title is like completely different, and all the girls knew more than me because like I wasn't really a cheerleader my whole life, so I didn't really know the whole national aspect, but it was focused like a dance competition kind of, and I didn't really know what I was in for because we've never been, so just give it our all. And I guess we all worked together and performance just came out. It was the best performance ever, actually. Winning nationals was probably the coolest thing ever. Just again, like I didn't expect any of even going to nationals. Like it wasn't even 4 years ago, we couldn't even win DCLs. Like we came in like 11th place or something. Like it was crazy. So like just even getting to nationals was the big hype this year, and we won nationals, so it's crazy. So it was just a winning accomplishment. Like it was crazy. Like
This past winter is one for the record books. Congratulations to all winter athletes, and thank you for representing Waltham the right way. But that's all we have for this episode. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out the next episode. Go Hawks, baby!